Direct from the web, it's Billy Masters Live. And now, please welcome your host, Billy Masters.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Billy Masters Live. Oh my God, we're coming in a little hot today. I'm looking at the screen. But anyway, today is, what the hell day is it? April 28th. And welcome to Billy Masters Live. Of course, I am Billy Masters because who else would be hosting this show other than Billy Masters? And we have two fabulous guests today. We have legendary designer Bob Mackie and a member of the fabulous Pointer Sisters, and pretty fabulous in her own right, Miss Anita Pointer. But first, we will start with a little personal anecdote. And yes, there's a wire here today. We're having headphone troubles, as always. So anyway, in the, I guess late 80s, early 90s, I was working with Eartha Kitt. Why wouldn't I be? Kind of an agent, kind of a publicist, kind of somebody she would just call and yell at a lot. And we had almost gotten her. Here's a little bit of the Sondheim trivia for people who are paying attention to Sondheim this past week. Is Eartha was contacted, I was contacted, for Eartha to be the first replacement for Bernadette Peters in Into the Woods. And she was asked to come in and audition with a whole lot of people. The role, just in case you're wondering, just cut to the chase, ended up going to Felicia Rashad, who happened to be on the most popular television show, The Cosby Show. But Eartha really wanted the part, and she flew in. She had been doing a concert in Arizona, I believe. And she flew in, and I met her in New York on a Sunday matinee. And through the whole show, she kept digging her fingernails into my arm, whispering, "I could do this part." So she thought this was going to be her big comeback. As it turns out, as I said, they went with Felicia Rashad. And a few months later, we got her Follies in London's West End. And at the time that Into the Woods started its national tour, we were called again asking if Eartha would lead the tour, but she was already in the West End. And the bottom line is I didn't make a cent off of her, but I had so many great stories. She at one point wanted to start a website. Websites were just starting, and we couldn't figure out what to call it. And literally, I called her up and left her a message pretending that I was her, just saying, I had this idea for the website. Let's call it .com. You just press the R and then type .com. She thought that was very funny. And so we have very few pictures together, but there was one event at Boston's Club Cabaret, and we took this lovely picture after a show. Here it is. And oh God, look how young I was. And we look very happy. And I said to her, this is not what our relationship is about. Could you give me a picture that I will remember our relationship? This was the picture we took. See, the nails are out, and that's not a happy face. I mean, it looks like a smile, but I'm pulling away. Anyway, that is my Eartha Kitt story. These two people today, I have so many stories about, and I am fairly confident we will not get through them all, but I'm jumping right in. Our first guest is a legendary designer. I grew up as a little gay boy in a Boston suburb. Bob Mackie meant Hollywood. It meant glamour. It meant excitement. To think that I would know him, have vacationed with him, consider him a friend, and be able to ask him to be on the show was certainly beyond the young Billy Masters' wildest dreams. And yet here he is, my friend, Bob Mackie. Oh, wait, hold on. We've got you muted. Hold on a second. Let me unmute you. I can do it. Okay, there you are.
I'm here now.
Yes, you are. How are you, darling?
I'm good. I'm in Palm Springs. I'm having a lovely kind of late spring, whatever this is we're in.
So I can't ask how you're doing during the pandemic. You're doing fine.
Well, I just moved here, and I have a lovely home with lots of light, high ceilings, and I stay home. What can I do?
When did you move? Because you were around the corner from me, like near Danny Guerrero's house for a short time.
Well, I was, yeah, but I moved in January, I guess, or
Oh,
December.
okay.
December.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. And
Yeah.
was it something you wanted to do? Had you been
No,
planning
it
it?
is something I wanted to do. I wanted to move in somewhere that I wanted to be able to really settle in and stay. And I can still work and do things. I can live anywhere, really.
Well, you usually live on the road.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, last year we were doing the Share Show, and it took over a year, probably almost 2 years to do it. So I was on the road the whole time.
And it's funny. I mentioned that you were living around the corner from my house, and yet I've seen you everywhere but in Los Angeles.
I know.
We both show up. We have a very wide circle of friends, and I do have a picture. We spend a lot of time in Provincetown. Obviously, it doesn't look like we're going to this summer.
It doesn't look very hopeful, really, at this point. But we'll see.
Yeah. But anyway, I found this picture of a dinner that we all had.
Yes.
And this is our little group. There's Joe, of course, your assistant, and Marilyn May, and you, and Danny, and me, and Mark, and I can't see who else is there. But we have a lot of fun.
People there, yeah.
And I do say, we vacation together, but we actually we have our alone time, we have our together time. What I love about walking through Provincetown with you is you're the biggest celebrity in the world to the drag queens in town.
Well, it's kind of a curse, and it's really kind of weird. But the first time I went there were 6 Share drag queens working in the town.
Really?
I had this whole army of long black-haired women following me all over town, and it was weird, to tell you the truth.
I remember I first met you, and I'd forgotten this, but it was years ago at the Academy Theater had done an evening for Mitzi Gaynor, and right. You were there, and you and Mitzi's career really converged at a very fortuitous time, I guess, for both of you.
Well, she was my first big lady star that asked me to do her costumes for Vegas and for her specials and all of that. I didn't have a special person before that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. So what had you been doing before that?
Well, I was doing shows and TV specials and all kinds of things like that, but I didn't have a really regular lady. And then the year after I started with Mitzi, I went over and started working with Carol Burnett, which I still work with Carol Burnett. So
yes, you do.
It was all happened at the same time. And then on
first year of
the Carol Burnett show, Cher was on, and I became her favorite, or whatever.
Well, certainly her go-to, without a doubt. I think, I think people, a lot of these stars, when they think of certainly Mitzi and certainly Cher and even Carol Burnett, when they think of them, your name is inextricably linked to them as, sort of it's a collaboration. You're not just a designer.
Well, I try to make costumes that give you more than just another dress, another pretty gown to dance. And these ladies are all funny ladies. They're all very, very funny, and they have good sense of humor, and it works. It works for me.
Was there ever anybody you worked with that you couldn't get a handle on, that it just wasn't the right fit? And nothing against them, but
Oh, well, usually if it's somebody that I couldn't get a right fit, there was plenty against them. So I just, there were times when you say, oh, I don't want to ever see her again. but there were very few of those, actually.
But even if you really like somebody, are you ever lost for an inspiration for that person or for that moment?
Once in a while, I can love the person, but have no inspiration. But sometimes
that must be frustrating.
But sometimes I end up doing the job anyway, and I realize, no, I really understood them. But you get nervous, you want it to be perfect, and you want to give them something that nobody else has, which is important.
I remember one of our first summers in Provincetown. I had been reading a book, an autobiography or a biography. It wasn't an autobiography about another designer. And one thing struck me, and I remember having a conversation with you.
Is it a name I should know?
Yeah, but no need to mention it. But well,
Okay.
actually, no, I don't think it matters. It's Calvin Klein, and
Yeah.
there was sort of a sadness at the end of the book that he was happiest when he started out and was designing coats, which I didn't know anything about, for
Right,
women,
right.
and that this was his joy. And now he's almost, just putting his name on things, and that creative joy is lacking. Now, again, that's somewhat of an assumption, but.
Well, no, there is that thing when you're in school, design school, and you're good at certain things, and then you might end up not doing those things so much later on.
So what did you start out to do?
I just wanted to be in show business.
Oh, really?
I wanted to design for the stage when I
Mhm.
was a little boy, and I'm old. So the movies when I was a little boy were all about show business. They were all
Right.
about getting to Broadway or playing the Palace if you're in vaudeville. They were all about that, and they would show that train going, from
Mhm.
one town to the next town to the next town. Before you know it, they're playing the Hippodrome in New York, or,
Right.
or Radio City or the Palace or whatever. And I just thought that was the most glamorous lifestyle I could imagine.
Was it the
Not
designing
that I've
or the
done all
show
that stuff,
business?
but kind
Was
of
it the
happened.
designing or show business that was
It
more
was it was both. It was
really?
both, and also the fact that as a designer, I could do things for them. I could help them. I could make them more special than just putting on another dress you bought at Macy's and going out and singing a song. You
Right.
know, uh, it's very interesting when you have somebody. Well, like today, you have Anita Pointer on, and
Mhm.
and the Pointer sisters had such personality, and they had such a look. When I first met them, I thought, oh, I want to work with them. They'll be really fun.
And
And
do you think at that time, because they had a specific look, that you're pigeonholed into that look, or could you let your imagination run wild?
well, it worked both ways.
Uh-huh.
I could take them places visually that they probably never thought of,
Mhm.
but yet it was perfect for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So, how
Yeah.
much getting to know a client do you have to go through? If somebody
Well,
new, like for
so,
instance, you worked with Pink recently
right,
and
right.
designed her tour. I assume you didn't know her before you worked for her.
I didn't really know her, no.
Okay, so how does
And
that work?
I have great respect for her talent. She's a great writer. She's just amazing. She gets up on that trapeze and does great stuff.
Unbelievable, yeah.
But I don't think I get along with her so well.
No,
So,
well, but you still
I
worked with
really
her,
haven't worked with her for a while.
right? But when you meet somebody new like her, do you do your research about them? Do you listen to the music? How does it work?
Usually, yeah, I do research, but I also like their way of performing, and
Mhm.
I want to enhance that visually. It's very important. Or if there's a script, and
Mhm.
sometimes you have a script, and you have to take that character and make that work for that star. And very often it wouldn't have. Very often you'd say, "Do you think she could play that part?" And
Mhm.
then you can make it right for her visually.
And are you able to push them as much as they push you? Yeah.
Sometimes, and sometimes no. Sometimes they don't want to hear anything, and then
Right.
other times I'll say, "What would happen if we did this, this, and this visually for that part?" I
Mhm.
used to do that with Carol Burnett all the time, and we had the best time. We just had the best time,
Well, see,
and
she seems very gutsy, that a challenge is something she will thrive on. So I think that was probably a great fit for you.
well, she did. She loved a challenge, but she also loved doing something that was a little different. When we did her show every week, she would do how many characters in one week? Maybe
You
a
know,
dozen or more.
doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, and if we could take what was kind of a normal everyday character that she often did, sort of, but not a well-known one, I said, what if is this, or what if she's that, or what if we just black out that one tooth? Who knows? You know, it was always about what we could do to make it funnier, or to make it amusing, or where does she live? So very often in the scripts, when they would come in, it would say woman walks into a bar and sits at the bar, and you go, well, who is she? Where does she live? Why is she at the bar by herself? And very often the writers wouldn't put that part in. And I would kind of think, well, what if she lives, you know, right off Madison Avenue, and she's quite wealthy, but her husband is never at home, and blah, blah, blah. But she's well dressed because she has plenty of money. And all of a sudden I talked to Carol about it a little bit, and she goes, oh yeah. And then it starts going, you know, in her head, things changed.
Yeah, I think there are some performers you can do that with. Sam Harris, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, you would always ask somebody where your character had been. And I remember asking somebody, where were you before you entered the stage? And she turned to me and said, I was in the wings. And I went, well, that's not going to help.
That's good.
You know, that's a start, I guess.
Well, you got to want to be in the wings. You got to want to be part of it all.
Well, that's true. I guess in the wings, metaphorically speaking.
Well, no, but it's true. You're waiting for that moment to do your best work. And I was always waiting for that moment. You know, I never wanted to change things drastically, but sometimes you get a script and it wasn't visually very interesting. And I thought, what could I do to make that better for them?
It's funny you mentioned waiting in the wings. I had no intention of talking about this, but I remember the first time I met Carol Channing, and she was very old and shuffling along, and she was in the wings and very gingerly sitting down. This was at the reopening of the El Portal, which I think you were there when they reopened.
I was.
You might have been. And
now where is that?
That's North Hollywood.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
On Lancashire?
Right. Now I know.
And like Donald O'Connor came back, and that's where his family had performed in vaudeville. But anyway, Carol Channing was backstage, and they said, okay, get in position. And she's shuffling along. And I went, oh my God, how is this old woman going to perform? The minute the light hit her, she was up, she was fabulous. And the minute it was off her, off stage.
If she could jump out of her grave today, she would be hitting all her marks and doing all her stuff perfectly. Don't worry.
Well, I remember we saw her in one of her last performances in Provincetown.
Yes.
And I have this photo of the two of you.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Here we are.
You know, I pulled up all my Mackie photos, so I didn't know I was going to talk about that. But had you worked with Carol? I have some of them.
I see.
Had you worked with Carol?
Carol Channing? Of course.
Yes.
Of course. One of the first things I ever did in television was the Danny Thomas Wonderful World of Burlesque. He did several of these specials and he would bring in real burlesque comics and get kind of glamorous Lucille Ball and Sid Charisse and Nanette Febvre to come in and be, you know, Queen of Burlesque or whatever. And Carol Channing was on one of the first ones we did. And I learned a lot about Carol Channing on that one, but she was amazing, you know, and she kind of really got what I did. She liked what I was. She would tell me what she wanted, but then when I'd show her stuff, she'd get all excited. So that was good.
You know, one of the things I loved about her, even that last performance, she had that wonderment and youthfulness when she performed. And I think that's what people who are drawn to show business usually start with.
That's all she wanted to do.
Yeah.
I've never known anybody that would rehearse to the extent that she would rehearse.
Oh, wow.
And she would rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. And she'd be off in a corner going through her lines and doing, you know, and they might be just for that night. And the next night, somebody else would be in the audience and she'd have a whole nother little thing worked out. You know, you never know with her.
Where did you grow up? Where did you start out?
I was born in Los Angeles.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I grew up you know, out by the race, not by, well, it was by the racetrack, the Hollywood Park racetrack, but we also had all the jets going over our house on the way to the airport there on LAX. And I lived there from first grade to 8th grade with my grandparents. And my favorite thing in the world was going to see movies, you know.
So again, like Carol Burnett.
That was my school.
Yeah, well, Carol Burnett talks about that.
Carol and I are like, we didn't know at the time, but we could have been in the same, you know, she went to the movies with her grandmother.
With her grandmother, right?
Yeah. My grandmother only went to a couple of movies. She took me to see Stella Dallas.
Oh, right. Yeah.
and I don't know, and Cleopatra with Claudette Colbert. You know, it was like a rerun house. They were all old movies, but it was something she wanted to see again. Otherwise, she could care less. She'd rather watch wrestling on TV.
Really?
Yeah. She was quite the number. My grandfather really liked the pretty girls with the feathers and the beads dancing and singing. So
well, you might have gotten that from him.
Well, I love show business, and nobody in my house or my mother or my sister, none of those people I knew ever looked like Betty Grable or Rita Hayworth or those girls or Marilyn Monroe for that matter, who looked like Marilyn Monroe.
Sure. Did your grandparents and your immediate family live to see your success?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
Did it matter?
Well, they always said I take after my Uncle Harry, who was a jewelry designer. And I thought, well, I'm not exactly like Uncle Harry, but you know, close. But I loved Uncle Harry because he was very artistic.
And so, how did you get into design? Did you go to college?
I was ready. I was ready to design shows when I was in high school.
Wow.
I was designing stuff, you know, for the school plays, and I would be in them, and then I would paint scenery, and I don't know. It was just something that I knew I wanted to do. The minute I saw Gene Kelly in American in Paris, and the ballet came on, this incredibly beautiful ballet of French Impressionists, I said, I think I could do that.
Really?
In my heart, I went, oh. And I said, well, who does that anyway? I didn't even realize that there's somebody called a costume designer.
Did you think like the actors showed up in their clothes?
The movies came that way. You know, just there, you know. And all of a sudden I saw that, and then I stopped and I stayed and watched it another time and saw that there was somebody called a costume designer. And I thought, that's what I want to be.
So how do you get from there to even designing? What was your journey like?
You just keep working at it.
Yeah.
And in high school, I decided I wanted to be that. I was when that movie came out, I think I was 10 or 11. So I didn't really know about all that, but I did know about French painters and like Toulouse-Lautrec or Renoir or all those painters that ballet was based on. And I had books about that. And I said, oh, that's like that book I have. And I was going through my books and I went, wow. So I used to do scenery and paper dolls with costumes and whatever. And I would play a record and turn the flashlight on it like this was how I amused myself. I wasn't playing baseball or football with the other guys down the street. I had my own little theater in my bedroom.
Were you supported? Like, back then, that must have seemed really odd. Today, everyone wants to be in show business. But.
Well, really strange. One of my uncles said, what do you want to be when you grow up, Bobby? And I said, I want to be a costume designer on Broadway.
Yeah.
Well, his eyes rolled back into his head and he just sort of walked away. He didn't know what to say. Just nobody in my family. They were very theatrical, but they weren't theatrical in the real way. They were just theatrical as characters. Somebody should have written, a play about them. But
did you draw on any of them for people you designed for?
Yeah, sometimes. When I started out as a little kid, I would draw pictures of ladies in these dresses from the 1940s. and and then I'd put the initials of my grandmother or my Aunt B or my teenage sister, and it was always fun because they always kind of looked like hookers on a holiday. But I thought it was very glamorous.
Did they ever let you dress them?
No, they didn't trust me. No, it was all very, very strange. And then even when I started being really professional, people knew who I was, and I would do things, and I'd give one of them to my mother for Christmas, and then she'd say, "Do people really wear things like this?" And I was always doing things to her so she would ask those questions. I had one time I did a sweater, an Intarsia sweater. That's where they knit the whole design. And it was a Nubian African princess on one side with the whole headdress down the side. My mother was the whitest woman that lived. She said, "I don't know if I could wear a sweater with a black lady on it." Oh, too bad. Too bad.
Someone else will.
Somebody did.
And a lot of people did, and they paid a lot of money for those things.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It's interesting. I remember us talking about, I've seen you on television. You have a line of designs on QVC, correct?
Well, I do. That couldn't be further away from show business.
No.
I mean, it is like show business in a way, because
but it is more ready to wear.
It's completely ready to wear, and it's for normal people. It's not, and it can be all sizes. We start extra, extra small, and we go all the way up to 3X.
Well, I've loved watching.
Everything we sell is, of that group will be the same price. It doesn't matter if you use 10 times more fabric on the larger one. And
I know that fabric's expensive.
It's not cheap.
But what I love, because I've sat and watched you, and also your assistant Joe. I've seen Joe on there as well.
Yeah, Joe goes on. He does shows. He does very well.
But what I loved was, I love hearing the people call in, and there will be, say, I don't want to stereotype, but say a Midwestern housewife who it's been her dream to have something by Bob Mackie. And even if it's a scarf, it makes her feel so special. And I just love hearing those stories.
Well, I like that too, and I love it when they're happy about things, and they think about what they're going to have, and they send me letters, and wouldn't you do that same thing, but please do it in grape purple or something, and I go, okay, whatever.
And what I love is, you call the line, I'm just going to show it, it is wearable art, and I think that's really what it is.
Well, I hope so.
I mean, it seems it to me.
Clothing are, they're costumes, really, because otherwise we'd all be wearing Mao jackets, which we might still do one day. But the thing is, costumes, you put it on and you put it on and you think, oh, I hope everybody likes the way I look. And there are ladies that really worry about what their girlfriends think, rather than what the handsome man in the other room thinks.
Do you believe that? Do you believe women dress for other women?
Oh, very often, yes. Yes. Yeah.
The other thing you have, and which I also love, is you do have accessories like this parrot.
Yes.
And I think I have heard women talk on the television that they will get like a brooch or a scarf or something, and it also, not only does it elevate the outfit and give it a little bit more festive look, but it elevates them mentally.
Well, why not? Why not? Don't you get elevated when you buy a new shirt and you spend a little more than you should, and you put it on and you look in the mirror and you say, oh, that color's good on me. Oh, I look good in this. Oh, do I look a little thinner? Yeah, pretty good. All that is very important.
Yeah, and I think we do that, but I wonder if maybe somebody in the suburb thinks like that, and this is like a splurge for them.
Well, it is a splurge, but it is the splurge. They're not huge on QVC.
No, they are not.
They're very affordable.
I would say they're inexpensive. I would say.
Yeah, but you know, they're very fussy there.
Oh, really?
Everything is beautifully made and
It
beautifully
is.
tailored. Yes, it is. This is not crap, darling.
No, and actually, I have seen some of the stuff because I've been with you when somebody will show you a blouse and say QVC, and I'm like, that's gorgeous. I mean, the colors are so vibrant.
We're very careful, and they're very careful about. They don't want the prices to get out of control.
So that must be a really hard thing for you to always be thinking of both things, the price point and the quality.
Yeah, whatever. You know, you just try to do a good job.
I think it's great because we're in a day Carol Burnett has talked about they couldn't have a variety show like hers today. Things are so expensive.
No.
Was it something you went to because other work wasn't happening, or did it just evolve that way? How did it happen?
What QVC?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just one of those things that people, they asked me if I would do it. And I said, well, what would I do? And they said, well, we'd like to do a program called Wearable Art.
Oh.
And I went, oh, okay. And there used to be a boutique right on Madison Avenue called Wearable Art. And I said, but there's a store called that already. And the lady who was in charge at the time at QVC says, yes, I know, but we're going to do our version. And I'd like it to be scarves and jewelry.
Oh.
Well, here I am, you know. So I did a few and we did it fine. And before I knew it, I was cutting up scarves and making blouses out of them because I thought, this is crazy. Most women these days don't even know how to wear a scarf.
Right.
So
and those patterns are so beautiful. Why not use it on the top?
Exactly. So that's how that all happened. But I didn't start out making real clothes. They were just scarves and jewelry.
Oh,
and
wow.
I wasn't particularly happy about it at the time because I just didn't think clothes made more sense.
And how many years has it been now?
It's pushing up to 30-ish.
Really?
I don't know.
Really? Cool.
Everybody, Joe says 28. He's in the other room. But,
right.
You know, we've been saying 28 for 5 years. So I don't know.
Oh, shut up, Joe. Well, this week, you know, it's fortuitous because thank God for Joe, because he's the one that tells me things. This week, you have a little special thing going on. All week, you have designed clothes from this Vanna White.
Well, yes, isn't that a wild thing?
And how did that happen?
You know, that's America's fashion sweetheart. And
yeah.
she's been modeling everybody's gowns and whatever for how many years? 30-something years.
30-something. And has she worn yours before? She must have.
She's amazing.
Well, and she's in great shape. My God.
She is. She's like a miracle. She really is.
So how did it come out that you're doing like Bob Mackie Week on Wheel of Fortune?
Well, they've been after me for a while to do that, you know.
Oh, really?
And they'll be able to offer items for sale online.
Well, I saw there's a Wheel of Fortune shop. Yes,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
so we'll see how it works out. We're just starting really next week. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, good. You know, you're always working. Every time I talk to you, there is another project. Everything in theater seems to be on hold right now. Did you have any projects in the works?
Well, there's nothing in the works. I mean, stores are shut down. Theaters are shut down. It makes me wonder what's going to happen in this world.
Yeah, I don't know.
None of us know. We're all kind of, we don't know. And but we're hoping that it'll all straighten itself out. Let's hope.
Yeah. Well,
this year, this coming up fall, I guess it was September, October, we were going to take the Cher show, Broadway show, out on tour.
Oh, right, of course.
And we're going to do new costumes and all that. Well, that's been postponed till next year.
So people can go to a theater, of course.
Let's hope they can. And so it's kind of a wild time right now. I'm quite happy to be in my new house and enjoy my house. And I live in a neighborhood and everybody's lovely and sweet. And they all have dogs. I don't have a dog. Maybe I will yet. We'll see.
Before I go from this, I do want to show just one picture that I found, which I thought was gorgeous. this picture of you in your bed. I don't know how long ago this was.
That was in the 70s. That's when
well, it's pretty fabulous.
That's when I was doing the Carol Burnett and the Cher show, and Sonny and Cher show at the same time. And there was a book came out, and that was in the book.
Oh, how are you able to have a personal life at that time with that much work?
I didn't have a personal life at that time. Yeah. I loved my work so much that it never was. I thought I died and gone to heaven. I was so happy to have
really?
those jobs. Are you kidding? And then I had special Bitsy Gaynor specials. I did a couple of movies during that time. I did Vegas shows with all those ladies with the nude titties and stuff. I mean, it was just it was amazing.
Jubilee. Don't forget Jubilee.
Jubilee. But then before that, I did a show called Hallelujah Hollywood.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It was just as big as Jubilee.
Wow.
And so much fun. And those funny, well, they lovingly call them tits and feather shows.
I love a tit and feather.
Well, I do too. When I first went one time on Sunset Strip at the old Earl Carroll, where there used to be a show called the Moulin Rouge. They changed it to the Moulin Rouge, and it was just like a tits and feather show, but everybody had their bra on, so the children could go. So on my 15th birthday, my mother says, that's where we're going to take him. That's where he wants to go, I'm sure. I was so happy. And it's a normal thing for me to design those kind of clothes. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think that they're beautiful. And I think the idea that they can be hookery, like you said, or risque, there is that line between.
But they have to be beautiful.
That's the thing, right? It's not cheap.
Glamorous.
Well, I like, when Dolly Parton has always said, she was inspired. Oop, what happened? Did I lose you?
Calling.
Oh, you're getting a call, Bob.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, Joe, delete that call.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Oh, okay. Well, I have never been accused of being soft, Bob.
We're doing this on Joe's phone, and Nancy Dussault is calling.
Another one of our vacation pals. Are you there? There you go. There. Yep.
I bet I can't hear you.
All right, it's okay. Yeah, it's coming back, I'm sure. Oh, maybe. Oh, Bob, put me back on speaker. Sorry. That's okay. I hear Joe. I hear Joe perfectly.
I can't hear you.
Really? I hear Joe.
Well, he's loud.
And now I'm loud?
He'll pay for that later.
Hello. Well, I'm going to bring on our next guest. Stay there, Bob. Stay there. Our next guest is a member of the Fabulous Pointer Sisters. Bob Mackie has designed for them. And we have the fabulous Anita Pointer. Oh, my God. Now you look like you're wearing a headdress. I know that's a sunflower, Anita. Oh, hold on. Wait. No, she's not there yet. Hold on. Wait. We have to get her on. Okay. Now you're on, Anita.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Anita, how did you meet Bob? How did you meet Bob Mackie, Anita?
We met Bob from the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, really?
He made these beautiful clothes for us for the show. That was one of the outfits that he made for Carol Burnett.
Sorry, Billy. The sound is really low here.
Let me see if I can bring you back in. Wait
but I can see all my beautiful drawings.
Yeah. hold on, Bob, for 1 second. Let's see if I remove you.
I gotta remember where the camera
is. That's okay. Still didn't help, Bob?
No.
All right, Bob, we're gonna have to.
I know it's you, Billy, but I can hardly tell what you're saying.
That's all right. Joe, try to disconnect the studio and then reconnect.
Disconnect what?
I'll leave the studio and then try to come back in.
Okay.
Okay, bye, honey. Anita, hi, sweetheart.
Hi, Billy.
Now, these are from Anita's book. I wanted to show people. Anita has this amazing exhibit at the Hollywood Museum. And here's just, I've already been there, but there's just a sample This is like a tiny sample.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Donnell Danigan is my angel. I ran into
Wow.
her at an Oscar party and she came to my house, and so I told her about my collecting things from the 70s, all the things Bob Mackie made, and Ola Hudson was our first designer, and she's
Oh,
Slash's mother
right. I remember
from
talking
Guns N'
to.
Roses.
It was right. It was the three of you, Bonnie, and Ruth. And Ruth was pointing to a dress, saying, "She made that dress." You know, that was her favorite. This little black dress.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
Ola
over
Hudson.
in the
Oh
corner.
my
Hold on, is
God.
Bob back? Can you hear us now, Bob?
Back now. I'm sorry about that.
Hi.
That's okay, my darling. So I want to show this photo of well, actually, this is a sketch that Bob did of the Four Pointer Sisters in
Oh, I
'77.
love it. I don't even have
Oh.
that one. Oh,
I
you
don't
gotta
have
send
that
to
one
me.
either.
Really?
I don't know.
Where'd you find it, Billy?
I don't know. Well, I can't tell my sources, but of course, I know
Oh.
this photo. Anita and Ruth both have, I think, in their living rooms. This
Yes, I have it in mine. I have it in my house. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorites of all time. I love that painting.
That's a seriograph, and it's huge. And
Oh,
I
is
have
it?
one of
Yes.
those I have one right
Yes.
around the corner in my living room too. It's my
Yes.
favorite.
It's my favorite. I love it. Oh my God.
So you two met on the Carol Burnett show.
We did,
Yes. We were
and I
doing
can't
Carol
tell you
Burnett.
how happy I was.
Oh, how happy you were. How happy we were. We knew
Yeah,
Carol
no,
Burnett,
because
and we've
I
seen all the
always
shows, and we were so thrilled to be on the show, and then to have Bob Mackie designing for us. He took our old wardrobe, our antique clothes,
Mhm.
and remodeled those as well. I'll show you some of the things right here. These dresses were vintage dresses that Bob Mackie redesigned for Carol Burnett show.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? And I have them in
Well-
the exhibit at the Hollywood Museum. They're so beautiful. I just love them.
I'll have to
know,
go
and then
take a look.
he did these things for us for Vegas
Oh,
and
wow.
for Carol Burnett show. We went to Vegas with Carol Burnett.
Oh,
And we
really?
did a show there with Tim Conway, and he came out as the fourth Pointer Sister. So Bob made him a dress, just like the red fringe that we had. And he would come on stage as the fourth Pointer Sister. It was the funniest show. We had it in Vegas and in Tahoe.
Oh,
We had
wow.
a great time with Carol. I love her.
Bob, now is this an example of getting to know them, knowing their style and their energy and designing for that?
I don't know. I just saw them perform once, and I said, "Oh yeah, I know what to do with them." You know, and the thing is, you could put anything as long as it was exaggerated and had style. It worked on those girls, and it still does.
And what I love is each pointer has a different energy.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true. That's
true.
true.
We're all very different. That's so true. That's so true. But Bob Mackie's, though, his designs took us to places we didn't even think of.
Well, see,
I remember
there you
the
go.
piano dresses that we did on the Cher show. Oh my God.
Right.
I love and so many great things that he did for us that we didn't even think of that.
That was the Elton John medley or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It was the
And
Elton
you
John
had
medley.
jumpsuits with piano keys all the way down.
Yes. Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow.
I love those costumes so
I have
much.
a picture of that somewhere.
And
Even had
then,
little hats that went with them.
and then more recently, about 15, 20 years ago, when the Pointer Sisters kind of went back to their jazzy roots and toured in Ain't Misbehaving, I know Bob designed those clothes. Here's a sketch that he did of Anita.
That's right. That's right.
And then here they are in the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
You got everything.
That was fun.
Yeah, they asked us who we wanted to do the clothes, and we said,
Oh,
for
did they?
sure, Bob Mackie. There's my picture
That
from
was-
Ain't
That
Misbehaving.
was great.
He
Great.
did that
I
one
loved
of
doing
me, and I framed it. So beautiful.
Well, and here you are. Here you all are.
Oh, I love it. Now, see, I don't have that picture either.
All right,
Oh my
Anita, I'll
God.
send it to
Neither
you.
do I.
I
Well,
need
Bob, I'll
that.
send
I
it to
need
both of you. All right,
that.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So that's a long-term relationship. I mean, that's got to be at least 30 years between.
Well, we started in the 70s, so you figure it out.
So, well,
I
right.
know. Exactly. Oh my God.
Look,
The
when I was
70s.
And now I'm in my 80s, so you figure that one out too.
And I'm in my
you have
70s, so figure that
you have
out.
more energy than anyone I know in their 80s, with the exception of Marilyn May, who puts us all to shame and is in her 90s.
That's true. That's true.
Bob,
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Bob, for doing this. I'm going to talk to Anita, but thank you. I love you. And I miss that I'm going to not see you this summer.
Well, you never know. You never know. It's
Both
great
of
to
us.
see you, Anita. Oh, it's
Great to
fabulous
see you, Bob. I love you so much. Thank you
Bob,
so
wouldn't we
much
have-
for everything you did for us.
We should have a Bob Mackie and his ladies and get Mitzi and Carol and Lola and everybody.
It was so wonderful because when Bob was doing the wardrobe for us for Carol Burnett's show, and we didn't have anything, they gave us all the clothes that
Oh
we
my
wore on the
God,
show.
I didn't know. Really?
Yes.
That's
Oh
the
my
way
God,
she
how
is.
generous is that?
Wow,
Yeah.
that is.
So
Bob,
wonderful. Thank you.
thank you so
thank
much,
you so
Bob.
much, Bob.
I will talk to you soon, and thank you, Joe, for helping.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you
Joe.
guys
Bye,
later.
Bob.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Love you.
guys.
Hi, Joe.
So, Anita, how are you? How are you
Yes.
handling all this?
Hi,
This
Billy. I'm doing.
quarantining and
I
stuff.
know. It's like the end of the world or something. I don't know. It's just so crazy. I can't. It's like living in a horror movie.
You're at the house in Beverly Hills, right?
I'm at
Yep.
my house that I've been in for 30-something years, and I'm just glad I have a place to settle in that's comfortable for me, and I really love it here. I've spent so many years on the road.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just now beginning to enjoy my home because I was always gone. I was always on the road. It's
Well, sure.
creator.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
That's what it takes.
you've been busy because over the last year, or at least a year, maybe even more, you've been writing a book, which is right here, Fairy Tale, the
Yes,
Pointer
Fairy
Sisters
Tale.
family story.
Yes, my brother Fritz and I wrote this book. Fritz is a professor. He's taught at University of Wisconsin, San Francisco. He's at Contra Costa College. That was the last place he taught, but he's retired now, and he's written few books. He's an author, and he's written a few books, but most of them were for colleges.
So
But
a good
he is
collaborator for you.
Oh yeah, I was so glad to have him work with me on this because he knows how to write a book. And so between him and David Smitherman, we got it done. And
How long
it's
had you
so
been working on
wonderful.
it?
We worked on it for quite a few years, actually,
Really?
because writing, as Fritz always said, writing is rewriting.
Yeah.
And so we would write something and then we'd change it. And it took years to get it really where we wanted it.
Really?
It takes
And when
that
did it
long.
come
It
out?
really
Just
does.
recently?
And it's very hard to pull all those memories out. All of them are not happy memories,
No.
And to think about that and have to write it down and bring it back up in your life again, it's really, really difficult.
Is
really
it like reliving it?
It is. It really is, because you have to think about what happened, back then, and it can hurt. It can really, really hurt.
What I found was interesting is I have your sister Ruth's book as well. And seeing there were certain stories where you both tell very similar stories, but from your own perspective. And I think for any fan out there, this book, Fairy Tale, is invaluable because you really, I think in a way, having individual points of view because you don't have to share it with somebody else. It's your story. It's your perspective. Even if somebody else had one of the things I found very interesting was both of you talking about getting started. And you really started well before Ruth with June and Anita. I mean, with June and Bonnie.
June and Bonnie. Yeah, we sure did. We were living in San Francisco, the Haight-Ashbury. Those were some fun days, let me tell you. But even before that, we went to Texas and got stranded.
Yes, that was the story I was going to ask. Yep.
Oh my God, it was such a crazy time. Bonnie happened to have David Rubinson's card in her purse. We had called mother and she said, I'm gonna get my baby home, June, but you and Bonnie are on your own. So we had to find a way to get home. And we called David, and Bonnie had met David one time. She saw him at the office in San Francisco with Michael Takamatsu. They were there doing some backup singing, and David liked their voices. He said, I don't even care for Michael, but I love the girls' voices that are singing in the background. So he got us back to Oakland. I had never seen David. I had never talked to him, and he had never seen me, but he sent me a plane ticket home. And I think that's like a miracle. That's one of those things that, just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and that kind of thing happened. But
and it also
there was some
led
struggle.
It led to your first recording contract with Blue Thumb
Yes, it
Records.
did. We worked hard doing backup singing, working with Sylvester and his hot band, hanging out with the Cockettes in San Francisco.
How was that?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. You know, back then it was free love. It was before
So there
all
was
the
never
other
a
viruses, you know.
gay issue. Nobody. I mean, the Point Sisters
No,
loved everybody.
never. They loved us and we loved them. And we had such a great time working with Sylvester. We really did. But during that time, we ended up going on the road too with Dave Mason. And that was our first trip to London as backup
Oh
singers. When
wow!
we came back, yeah, then we ended up going to Atlantic Records. They signed me and Bonnie and June as the Pointers and the Pointer Sisters. And we went to New Orleans. And from New Orleans, we went to Jackson, Mississippi, where we recorded. And they laughed at us with the songs that we took. We took songs that were on our albums later. But when we took them to New Orleans, they thought it was totally out of the question. Black girls cannot sing that kind of music. And that's what they told us.
Right.
You cannot sing songs like that. And we have some great songs for you that are very close to the Jackson 5 and the Honeycombs.
Well, I remember. I was just going to say, there's "Don't Try and Take the Fifth." Wasn't that?
I know. That's one of the songs they gave us.
And that sounds just like Honeycomb, which is so interesting.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's
And it's
exactly
like,
what they wanted us to do.
you know, it's like we were talking to Bob Mackie, is that a designer wants to find out about the person rather than shove them into something. But at the beginning, you guys, they really did try to put you in a slot.
They really did. We were at the Whiskey A Go-Go performing with Elvin Bishop.
Oh, wow.
And Jerry Wexler happened to be in the audience, who was Aretha's producer at the time. He's the one who called our manager and said, we want to sign these girls. And when they took us down there, we had songs that we had written, you know, great songs. And they said, you can't sing stuff like that. You can't sing it because you're Black. So we just, you know, came back home, and David Rubinson took the tape and threw it across his office. He said, I'm going to get you out of this deal because this is not right. And he did. He got us out. He got us out of that deal, and he got us in with Blue Thumb, got us a new deal, and that's when Ruthie came in.
And what's funny is, you know, again, talking about Black women should sing a certain type of music. Your first Grammy was for a country song.
I'm telling you, the first Black female group to ever get a Grammy for a country song.
And the first Black group women to sing at the Grand Ole Opry.
That's right, at the Grand Ole Opry. Oh my God, I was so terrified, but we just went on through there were protesters out front.
There were?
They were protesting our being there, yes. Oh yes, we just pushed through them and told them we're going on in there, and actually we didn't say nothing to them, we just went on in there.
And what was the reception at the Grand Ole Opry?
Oh God. Actually, at the end, it was fabulous. But the beginning was kind of shaky. We went on stage, and a gentleman stood up in the back of the audience and said, hot damn, them gals is Black. and someone said, sing your song, honey. And we sang it. And then the guy stood up again and said, sing it again, honey. We sang it again. Then they had a great party for us, and it was really, really wonderful. It was they really, really loved us and treated us really great, you know, once we got past the picketers.
And yet, I don't know, has another Black group played at the Grand Ole Opry?
Not that I know of.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
30 years later.
Yeah, I know. What's his name? Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus. They probably play there, and you know, it's been wonderful for us to have that versatility in our music. You know, I love the country music. Country music came natural for me. When I wrote Fairy Tale, I was in a motel in Woodstock, New York.
Oh, really?
Doing backup singing with Dave Mason, and I was sitting there listening to my James Taylor cassette. And I love James Taylor, and he just inspired me to write Fairy Tale. The melody, the lyrics, everything came that one night. Everything just came together. And then I took it to Bonnie. I said, I think I got something here. And she said, let me hear it. And like she worked on it with me, and we finished it. And it became our first Grammy Award-winning song.
I know.
I was amazed. I really was. Me and Bonnie, though, we wrote a lot of songs together. We wrote Shady Flat Blues. We wrote with Stevie Wonder. Back in the 70s, we did a song called Baby Bring Your Sweet Stuff Home to Me with Stevie, and it won the Gold Award at the Tokyo Music Festival. And we worked with him on another song called Sleeping Alone. And, you know, we did a lot of writing. Bet You Got a Chick on the Side, and Jada.
This is not, oh yeah, Jada, about your daughter.
Yeah, about my daughter. Yeah.
Now this, of course, is more recently, although it is one of your early hits, but this was a night I was there at Cantor's in Hollywood.
Oh my
And
God.
Bonnie and you and Ruth
And
were
Ruth,
brought
yeah.
together by Ruth's son.
Yeah, Malik. Malik
And
was
so,
there. He does.
here's a little bit of nostalgia for people out there who maybe want to see early Pointer Sisters song sung by later Pointer Sisters. Ageless. But how fun is
I could hear it.
to go back and do that?
How fun is it, you say?
I mean, there's this magic of the three of you together.
It is. It's such a magic when we sing together. Me and my sisters, I just loved singing with my sisters. I really did.
Was Roxy in the background somewhere?
It probably was Roxy in the background. Probably was her. I didn't see it, but she probably there.
You have pointers coming and going, you people. There's so many of you. And I remember talking to you guys years ago about how you decide who would sing lead on a song, and you would try it several different ways.
Yeah, we would. As a matter of fact, I was on the lead at first. He's So Shy for a long time, and then all of a sudden Richard said, I think I want June to try this. And she did it, and it came out so fabulous.
Although then you sort of got it back.
I sort of brought it back. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I think people would put you guys in June being poppy sounding, you being more easy listening and country, and Ruth being sort of gospel-y. And yet when you would swap it out, it would just be as good, if not better. You have to shake things up.
Thank you so much. I thought we had a magic sound. We worked together so beautifully. We would make songs up on stage. And everybody knew just where to go. Oh yeah. We'd have little things that we would just come out and sing, and everybody knew what note they got to go on, and that's what we did. And
is it true that you guys didn't read music? Is that true?
Didn't read music. I read very slow. Every good boy does fine, and FACE. But it's really slow. So I played in the band too. In Arkansas, I was in the band.
What did you play?
I played alto saxophone.
No.
And I never really learned how to play it. I just memorized. I memorized the songs. I memorized the fingering on the instrument, and I would just play it by memory. I wasn't really, the sheet music was there in front of me, but I wasn't really reading the music. I was just going by memory.
So just to show people, this is the Pointer Sisters as a foursome.
Yeah, the very beginning. Oh my goodness.
And then, of course, the more classic version. So excited, a huge song for you guys. And tell me about writing it, because I know that you co-wrote it.
Yes, I did. I co-wrote it with Trevor Lawrence, and we had, it was such a beautiful song. And I've written so many songs, and they wouldn't release them as singles, and I didn't understand why the producers are doing me this way.
Right.
I said, maybe if I get my sisters in on this, we can get it promoted and get it out there. But anyway, they wouldn't release it. We had an album titled Pointer Sisters So Excited, and they refused to release my song. And I had to beg Richard Perry, please don't lose my song. This is a great song. I guarantee you it's really good. And, we were working on a new album, Breakout. And I said, put it on that album. He said, that's never done. You
I
don't take a
know.
song from an old album and put it on a new album. I said, well, try. Give
And
it a
release it
try.
as the lead single. I
You
mean, come
know?
on.
And they released it, and the rest is history. I mean, artists really are just underrated as far as producing and putting input on their art.
Mhm.
Their art. They just, the music industry is, it's really hard. It's really very, very hard, to get something and get known and have something be successful for you. And it's just a difficult road. It really is. It's fun as hell, but it's not that easy.
Well, it's funny
I don't
because
regret any moment. We had so much fun when we used to be on the buses, going around, from place to place, town to town, singing. We were on the road with Lionel Richie. That was one of the funnest tours we ever had. He was
really?
fabulous.
And
Yes, we
didn't
went
you
on tour with
tour?
him.
Somebody mentioned to me yesterday, I didn't remember this. Did you tour with Wham?
Wham! Yes, we sure did. We
I
did.
don't remember that at all.
Oh my God, we had a great time. That was the first time I ever played a concert where people were fainting.
Really?
It was hot, of course, but I think we were someplace in the Bay Area,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to carry people out, lift
Oh my God, hold on. Have we lost Anita Pointer?
them up over the crowd.
There she is.
Had to lift them up and take them to the ambulance.
Oh,
That's why
Jesus.
they loved us. They loved us, and they loved Wham. And we had a great time with them. We really did. That was.
Did you get to
fun,
know
fun
George
time.
Michael at
We
all?
just worked with them a short while. Not really know the George. I didn't really get to know him very well. But
Because I know
Matthew, I think, was the other guy.
Andrew.
Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah, he would come to our dressing room every night, every show. He'd come and talk to us, and
Really?
but George was never there. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
know
sure
with
but we loved
co-headliners.
him.
Yeah, well, talking about you writing, I want to show a clip that I put together, and I believe you'll tell me. I think you wrote this, but somebody else covered it. So hold on a second.
Could I be dreaming? Are you really with me? Are you right here by my side? Could I be dreaming? I've waited for this moment oh so long, and now you're mine. No, it's not a dream. Hey! Now we come to show that all things come and go, but I'm sure that you know that I've got you here, and I love the feeling that's sincere. Your love has got me spinning on my dreaming.
Now, did you
Oh my
write Could I Be
God.
Dreaming? Is that one of yours?
Me and Trevor again. We wrote Could
Oh,
I Be
wow.
Dreaming, and it's such a great. I love that song so much, and they wouldn't release that either as a single. I just don't understand.
And then
Got to
Cher
do.
Cher
I had a
opened her
song on-
Vegas show with it. So
Yeah,
it's a
she
pretty
did.
good show.
Cher opened her show in Vegas, and I was so thrilled. Kenny Ortega is a good friend of mine, and he did her show, and he told me about it. And I went to Vegas for the opening, and I sat there in the audience and cried.
But then you
He's doing my song.
Yeah.
He's singing
But
my
then you
song.
recorded Take Me Home for a Cher tribute CD. So
Sure
it did flip around.
Yes, I did. That's right. I recorded Take Me Home. I sure did. That was a fun time too.
And I have
they
to
never
tell
released
people, well, of course, the story of poor Anita's life. But I have to say, and again, only one song was released from this, but Anita did have a solo album called, what was it called,
Yes.
Anita?
Love for What It Is.
Love for What It Is. And but there were such gorgeous songs on it. It was a little bit in a
you.
country vein, but it was
Yeah.
a stunning album.
Thank you so much. Thank
And
you.
I
It
think-
didn't really
think I-
do very much, but I
Well,
enjoyed
again,
just
you're also
having it
in-
done.
Yeah, you were in the Pointer Sisters at the time. So I think it's hard
Right.
for people to promote a solo album as part of a group. I think that's very tricky.
It was tricky, and really tricky for me because when I came out, it was when Anita Baker, who I love, was very, very hot. And every time I do a promotional show or something, they would say, "Here she is, Anita Baker."
No.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I'm like, oh, I'm not Anita Baker. But anyway,
did I read
I
that
just
your-
gave up on that.
You've got I knew somebody that you and I both knew. There's a lot of people we
Uh-huh.
know, but Allie Willis was a good friend.
Allie Willis, she's my dear friend, and we wrote together as well. She wrote Neutron Dance for the Pointer Sisters, and
Mhm.
she and Danny Sambello. And me and Allie and Danny Sambello wrote another song called Tell It to My Heart. That's on the Pointer Sister album. And then me and Franny Gold and Allie wrote a song that I may release soon. It's called Take Me Away. And
Well, because I have seen the cover art for that album.
yes.
So when are we going to get new Pointer music?
I'm working on it, trying to get some things streaming. You know, we have a new song out. Me and Bonnie,
Yep.
Anita Pointer and Bonnie Pointer, wrote a song for our sister June Pointer. And I did. It's one of the best things I think I've ever done. You know,
And we have a clip
I
of it.
love the lyrics.
So this
And
is
my friend.
Feels Like June.
Mhm.
Let me just show a clip to the people because, of course, I'm ready.
Okay.
Hold on.
Great,
Let's see.
yeah.
Here, let's see. Is this it? Oh, hold on. Wait. Do we not have you there? Wait, we have no. Oh, there you are. Okay, hold on.
Oh, you hear me now? Okay.
Yep, now I hear you.
Yo, I love that song so much. I wake up every day with it in my head. I do, and I start singing it, and I tell Alexa to put it on. It's great. It's such a great song, and the month of June is coming up, so it'd be a great song to listen to in June.
And people can see it. It is on YouTube, but there's a
It's
video,
on YouTube.
obviously.
Yes.
And you can, it's also on Anita's website, which is anitapointer.com.
.com. Yes, I got a call from a friend, Terry Diamond, who lives in Nashville, and we worked together on my solo album. And she suggested that I do something, you know, in honor of my sister or my daughter, and her husband, Steve Diamond, who's an incredible producer and writer. And he sent me a track. And I wrote the lyrics for Feels Like June to the track. And Steve and Terry came out to LA and went in my little studio, and me and Bonnie and recorded it in there. And we had such a great time. I just can't wait to do it again. It's the first time we've really recorded anything in years.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Has the music business changed? Could the Pointer Sisters have been a success today?
That's something. Well, maybe the wardrobe could. That took precedent over our music in the first place. But the music is so different now. Hip hop, I don't even know how to describe it. You know, I love it. I think it's great. A lot of it, I think, is so great. You know, and my granddaughter Roxy and Alvin, her friend, they'll be writing all the time. They're in there putting down tracks and beats, and I tell them, I say, "Can I sing on something?"
Yeah, exactly. You are a Pointer, for God's sake.
They don't see it. They're like,
It's
"Get out of here."
to them,
We're
you're
not
the
done.
grandmother. I know.
Right, exactly.
You were part of something. You were part of something pretty historic, and we'll just show a photo. You were part of We Are the World.
Yeah. We Are the World. Oh my God, that was such a magic night. We came from the American Music Awards and went to the studio, and the sign at the door said, "Leave your ego at the door." And we all went in, and I was so excited because I was there among people that I admired all my life, you know, including Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and Quincy Jones, and, you know, just so many great people there. And I went around and took my sheet music and got autographs from everybody. And
Didn't I see that at the exhibit?
At the exhibit, I have it at the Hollywood Museum on exhibit of my music in frame with all these wonderful autographs. You know, everybody's on there. Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner. What's her name? Oh my God, I can't think of all the names now, but it's just.
And is it true there was a story at the time that the Pointer Sisters went down the street to Fatburger to get food for everyone? Was that true?
I never heard that story. No.
Say that's, you know, you hear things and you gotta ask.
True.
All right. So now let's talk about, you have a different kind of collection, and tell me about this collection.
Oh my God, I've been collecting for so long. I started like in the early 80s, like 1980, and I went to Arkansas, and we were driving from Little Rock to Prescott, where my family is from, Prescott, and we passed an antique store, and I just wanted to go back and check it out because I always loved antiques. That's the Pointer Sisters started with her antique clothes and antique. You know, I had antique furniture in my house, and I love all that stuff. And we went back to the antique store, and I found Dancing Sam.
Oh wait, let's
That's
show
my
him
little
again.
guy that
There
you
he
just got a
is.
picture of. There he is.
There he is.
It's so funny because of the packaging. I mean, it says on the packaging, hours and hours of fun for your children. And I'm, oh my God. You just put this little plank and you put the doll on there and you hit the plank and the doll just jumps around and dances for you. And kids do this for hours and hours. I guess so now. Now
Well,
it'd
they
be
didn't have
impossible.
technology, right?
Exactly. They didn't have, PlayStation and all these things that they do now with the games. I mean, my granddaughter, she's playing with people all over the world.
She's
They're
not playing with
games
Dancing Sam.
No,
She could if she'd like to.
she could. She's not. Not interested.
Are you going to do an
Yeah, but
exhibit of that stuff? Because I know you have
I do
a
plan to
lot
do an
of
exhibit.
things.
We had planned an exhibit in Oakland at the Oakland Museum, and we had to cancel everything because of the
Of course.
virus. But Roxy and Alvin put it all together. It's in I have a racquetball court here, and it's all it filled up the whole court.
Of
It's so many
course.
beautiful things that I forgot I had because I've been collecting and just coming home, wrapping it up, putting them things away. And one year though, it was like 99. I did an inventory, and we made a little book and took pictures of everything, and so it's very organized, but. I just want to I want to show it. I want to show it to the world because it is history. It really is,
Well, I know when we were
to
talking
not
at the
repeat it.
when we were talking at the Hollywood Museum, you said to me that even that entire exhibit there, and it is huge, wasn't even all of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not all of it. They still have things in the garage that we haven't taken out. But I don't know. I just got to where every town I go to, I'd look up the antique stores and go there and look for stuff. And it was a fun thing for me to do, because very seldom would I really go out when I was on the road. I was always focusing on the show.
Yeah,
But when
sure.
I did, I'd go to an antique store.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, I bet all of the Pointers have their own hobbies, and that was yours.
Oh, yeah. Sure we do.
What I didn't know, reading your book, and again, fairy tale. Oh, I didn't show you this. I've got I don't know if you remember this Pointer
I do.
Sisters exhibit. There was a benefit that you guys did. I don't know where. Hair to Hollywood, and it was a hairy.
Wow.
And so,
I have that
mean,
album.
I am not like a casual fan. There are things in this house. But
Thank you, Billy.
I could
Thank
have
you
my
so
own
much.
exhibit. I'll have my own exhibit. It's fine. But what I didn't know when I was reading your book, I did learn a lot. And again, fairy tale, buy it. It's on Amazon.
Yay.
Go buy it. Are you going to do an audio book of it?
Yeah, I hope so. They said,
Yeah, you
I
should.
think you have to sell so many and then they, whatever.
Yeah,
we
I know, the
definitely want an
business.
audio book. That's what I like. Audio
I
books.
would. Yes, I so would.
Yes, I love
But
it.
in the book, you talk really openly. Well, there was a few things. First thing, speaking of Yes We Can, I didn't know that you hadn't voted. Didn't you talk about that? It was it Barack Obama was the first time that you voted?
That's right. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Barack Obama. Yeah, because I was too busy working and I didn't want to deal with politics at all. And, I just didn't vote until I felt I had someone to vote for.
Well, that's really what you talk about. And I thought that was,
I
it's a really
swear.
interesting section where you talk about that
Yeah,
he was the
'cause I
first
felt
person that spoke to you.
Exactly. I felt like all the others were like, who do I pick, the devil or the deep blue sea? I don't have really a choice here. It just drove me crazy, and it's driving me crazy again now.
Is it
the
really?
election in November, it's making me sick. Yes, it is. Oh God, it just doesn't seem like we're headed. Well, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
And then, about things you may not want to go to, but I didn't know about you'd had a lot of health challenges. And you have come through them. Yes, yeah.
Yes, I did. I
did. I mean, you never really were one to talk about it. You just did the work. or would then go and take care of yourself. How are you now?
I'm very good now. Very, very good. I'm still in therapy though, and I love it.
Yeah, really, I bet.
Yes, I need to talk to somebody. I'm alone too much. But, but yeah, I'm in very good health. So my doctor says I'm healthy as a horse.
Oh, well,
Well,
that's
thanks,
good.
doctor.
Well,
Thank you for saying that. That's what a compliment that is.
Well, just to show people how healthy you are, I was at the Hollywood Museum. There's a photo of us. Let's see, where is it?
Oh my goodness.
At the museum exhibit.
Yes.
And
yes.
I
Is that
had
you?
3 remaining. Well, this is a horrifying picture. This is just 20 years earlier.
Oh my God, look at all that hair.
That's a lot of hair.
Whoa, beautiful hair.
Yeah, well, I love my pointers, but that was not my favorite photo. But now at least
Oh
I've got
my
a better one.
God.
But for me, the Hollywood Museum.
Really, you got to send me those photos.
I'll send you everything. But what I loved is at the Hollywood Museum, we got the 3 remaining Pointer Sisters to perform. And I just want to show a little clip of this. Hold on.
Thank you.
And if you move real slow, I'll let it go. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Oh, I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. Oh, yeah. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. No, no. And I want you. I want you. You got me burning up. How did you get to me? I got to give it up. And I'm so excited. What you do to me? Oh boy, you got me burning up. Oh, how did you got me? I got to give it up. I like it, boy.
Such a special day. It really was. Oh, wait, hold on. Did we lose you? Let's say, hold on. Are you there? Nope. Hold on. Okay, you back? We have no audio from Anita. Oh my God. Hold on 1 second, Anita. We have no audio from you. Oh, geez. Oh, wait. Okay, are you there?
I'm there.
Okay, yes, you're back.
I'm
There you
there.
go.
Okay, here I am.
Computers. I know. So what a special day that was.
Oh, what a special day. I'm telling you, I was so just in outer space, just so thrilled to finally have my exhibit up. I've been working on this since the 70s. I've been collecting clothes since the 70s. And it's my granddaughter Roxy and her friend Alvin and Chaz and JT. They worked day and night to put it all together at the museum for me.
Right.
And we had it all set up and structured the way it should go, where it starts and where it ends. And I was just blown away when I came back and saw how they had set everything up. It was so, so beautiful. And I'm just so proud of them. I'm just so glad that we got it done.
Oh, and you absolutely
Yes,
did.
and Odila. That's right, Odila. She also helped put it together.
Oh, all right. Got to give everyone credit.
Odila, she passed away in January, and she had a stroke on my birthday on January 23rd. And she was like my dearest friend. She worked with me for 31 years, and I just love her, and I miss her so, so much. So she helped also with the exhibit, getting the things up there, and she's a seamstress, so she would make sure everything was fixed that needed fixing. And oh God, I miss Odila, my Odila.
Well, I just loved that day because we did have the 3 of you perform, which doesn't happen very often.
That's right, it doesn't. We hadn't been together in years.
No, and I was surprised because I did not know. In the book, you talked about there was a rift with Ruth more recently, and that, according to your brother, he says you would never work with her again, and yet there you are.
I know. I'm a softie. What can I say?
It sounds like nobody speaks for Anita but Anita.
Right? That's true.
But I do, I want to say, because you talk about it in the book, And you
Uh-huh.
talk about that having written So Excited, you weren't thrilled that Ruth used it for the title of her book, which I can understand, or at least you didn't know.
I was really, really hurt. I was
Yeah.
hurt and so much until I had a really kind of a nervous breakdown
Oh, really?
because
Was it that
yeah,
bad?
because we were supposed to be writing a book together, and she
Oh, yeah.
found a deal and did it by herself. Took my title of my song and put it on the book, and I was hurt. I couldn't believe
Sure.
it. I could
Right.
not believe it because we were working on this together.
Oh, really?
I was so hurt. I couldn't believe it, and
And if I remember it, you found out about it when you got out of the hospital in Curacao.
right, I just come off stage, and I'd been having problems traveling because I think the real thing was I didn't want to travel anymore. And I was
Really?
pushing myself after my daughter died, after June died, then after I got cancer, went through a year of chemo and surgery, and I tried to come back, and it wasn't there. It really wasn't, and that was 2013.
Oh,
And I
really?
tried so hard to come back, yes. And
Was it too soon physically or mentally or both?
mentally for sure,
Yeah.
and physically I felt okay, but I just couldn't deal with it. I really
And
couldn't.
wasn't
And in
that last show you passed out before the last number?
the last show, we were in Curacao, beautiful island, it's so beautiful. And I got on stage, and it got to where when I traveled, I couldn't eat for some reason. When I'd leave home, I
Really?
couldn't eat. And so by the time showtime came, I would be so weak, I could barely do the shows. And I did the show that night. And by the end of the set, I was about to faint. So they called an ambulance. I think Issa finished singing the last song, So Excited, and they took
Mhm.
me away in an ambulance to the hospital.
Oh, my God.
And I spent a few hours there, and the doctors told me, you're really killing yourself. And if you can stop traveling like you do, you should. You really should stop because you're killing yourself. So I said, oh, God, that hurt me too. That hurt me to my heart because I don't want to feel like I can't do what I love to do. But I couldn't really do it anymore. I guess the love too was kind of gone, after June, and was gone.
Did you
And
enjoy working? Did you enjoy working after June had left and you had Issa there for a while? Or was it not the same?
not the same.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Really?
Not the same. I did it because I had to do something. I'm going to sit at home
Right.
and
What
do
do you
nothing.
do?
And yeah, what do you do? So I went on, I kept going. And then that night after, I came back from the hospital, and that's when Ruthie told me, I have something to tell you. And
Mhm.
I said, I really don't feel like it now. I'm not feeling well. She said, I want to let you know this before you hear it from someone else. And she said,
Wow.
I wrote a book, and I finished it, and we're doing a sizzle reel, and I wanted to know if you want to be a part of it.
Mhm.
And I said, excuse me while I jump out the window. That's what I said in my head. That's what I was saying.
And then she told you the
could,
name of the book.
yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if she told me that day or I found
Oh,
out
really?
later, but I was so unbelievably hurt. I wrote every verse, every chorus. How she could take my song and do that to me, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it.
And so what? But now there's a question. You did credit June and Ruth on the writing
I
of the
did.
song. So why did you
Yes.
do that? That's
I
interesting.
did it because I thought they would help me get it out. I
Oh,
thought they would help
really?
promote it. It was
That
on the
it was
first album.
written and performed by the Pointer Sisters.
Yeah, they seem to not do want to help me when I write a song by myself, but if I write something with my sister, lost my earphone. Maybe they'll put it out there. So I gave them credits on the song. I gave them credit. I'm so excited, and they did help me promote it. It became a big hit, the biggest hit the Pointer Sisters ever had.
And it was a Pointer Sisters song, regardless of who wrote it. You guys did perform it.
Exactly. We made it famous, and that's why I said, well, God, when Elvis did our song, he got the publishing.
Oh,
He took them. Oh yeah.
really?
Yeah. I think he got like 50% of the publishing when he did Fairy Tale.
So now, would you
Yes.
have called your book So Excited, or would you have still called it Fairy Tale?
What's that called? Well, the book would
Your
have been
book.
So Excited.
You
No
would have.
doubt. totally, of course. That's the
So
best
that
song I
was
ever
a
wrote.
title you had in the back of your
Of
head.
course it was, and I'm sure it was the same with Ruthie. You know,
Right.
It was the title.
Because it is the number one song, of
It's
course.
the number one song.
Right.
Yeah, and I surely was writing for that. You know, but I don't know.
But
People
now,
will be
even
people.
with, even with family issues, you guys still do come together and perform. Now, she did come out and perform at this thing. Was that good or was that awkward?
It was good. It was really good. I was so glad she came. I really felt honored that she would show up. And we haven't done anything in years together.
Was Curacao the last concert you did as a pointer?
Yes, it was. And that was
Wow.
2015. That was the last concert I did. And since
Wow.
then, Ruth has been out on the road with her daughter and her granddaughter.
Right. I assume with your blessing.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I wanted them to be great. And I love her granddaughter and her daughter. And, I love her too. But I just wanted them to carry on the way they wanted to. I was done. I really was. I couldn't do anymore. So I wasn't going to stop her.
Right.
Stop
Is
Ruth
it
from doing
something
what she
you
wanted
miss
to do.
performing? Do you miss it now?
Sometimes I do. I really do. I miss performing from the old days when it was me and Bonnie and June and Ruth. I miss performing that stuff. I miss performing when it was me and Ruth and June.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss anything from there.
Right.
I don't miss anything from beyond that. If that's not what I'm.
Is there a difference for you being a solo performer versus being a pointer? Like when you're standing on stage at the Hollywood Museum with your two sisters, is that different than performing on your own?
I didn't really care for performing on my own. To
Really?
tell you the truth, I always loved singing with my sisters. I really, really did. I was always a group player, a team player, and I was approached by RCA to do that solo album that I did. I didn't ask for it.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
They came to me. Terry Diamond, she was the executive producer, and she came to me, and asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said okay. And it was like between shows, between on the road, come home, go to the studio, run it, fly up to Sausalito, and go to the record plant, and just we had a good time. I had a lot of fun doing it, and my daughter Jada was there with me, and she sang on some of the songs too, and we had some fun. We really did. I really treasure those moments with my daughter.
Yeah, is it true? I don't remember if it's in your book that when June left the group, Issa and Jada, the original plan was they were going to swap off being a pointer sister. Is that true?
Right, that's right. Issa and Jada were going to take turns. We were going to take Issa one trip, Jada one trip. I got still in the garage clothes that I had made for Jada.
Oh wow!
To match, with the Pointer Sisters wardrobe. Yeah, I still have her clothes. She was going to be on the road with us. She did the Arsenio Hall show with me, and some other TV. I think Bandstand or something she did with me. But
wow.
Yeah, I miss her so much. Oh my God, I don't know how I ever even went back to work after Jada passed. This is something I never will ever get over. I don't understand why my life would be like this, to where I have to be in torture for the rest of my life, missing my baby. I don't understand why that happened to me. I've been a wonderful person, honest, fair, giving. But to lose my daughter was it took 90% of me away. It's hard for me to. I can't believe I'm still here. I really can't. I really can't.
I remember in the book
my
you
only
said
child,
that
and I had her when I was 18. I was 18 years old. We grew up together, and I still talk to her all the time, and I have her pictures all over my room, and I talk to her and think about her, and I miss her so much. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm here without her.
I remember in the book you said that had you not had Roxy to take care of, you may not have survived.
That's the truth. That is so true. Roxy gave me hope. I said, I got to be here for Roxy. I got to be strong for her. And it was not easy because I was still going on the road. Roxy was 13 and she had to be up and going to school every day. And I wasn't used to that. I had to change my whole life. And
Sure.
oh, it's still just, whew, when I think about what happened, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me that it happened. It's like a nightmare. I can't believe that I would never wake up from.
And it sounds like in the book, Jada, your mother, and June all happened really kind of at the same time.
Yeah, they did within 10 years. My mom in 2000, my daughter in 2003, and my sister June in 2006.
Wow.
And
That's
then
very
I
close.
had cancer. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2010. And 2011, oh, actually, it's 2011 I was diagnosed. 2010 was when I thought I was sick. But
Mhm.
I was diagnosed in 2011, and I went through chemo, and I had surgery first, and chemo, and I thought it was over. I thought that was, I said, my daughter, she had cancer. She had pancreatic cancer.
Mm.
And I said, if she can pass away, then so can I. And I was kind of really wanting to go. I really
Mhm.
was. I was wanting to go. I wanted to be with her. But then I don't want to leave Roxy. So I
Is
had
that
to
what got you through it,
toughen
or is
up.
there also faith?
It was Roxy who really brought me through it. I
Mhm.
really kind of lost faith when my
Really?
daughter died. I prayed and prayed and prayed so hard, the most sincere prayers of my life. Please, please, I'm begging, please don't take my baby. Oh, and when it happened, I just couldn't believe anymore. So,
Where are you in faith now?
well, I really don't have any faith. I really
Really?
don't. Mm-mm. And now when I'm seeing what's happening in this world,
Right.
it's like we're living in the last days. I can't understand this. It's just so horrible. I feel so sorry for the young kids and like Roxy and all them and Alvin, how they have to sit here at this house all the time and they can't go anywhere. And when I was that age, I was going and going
You
and
were
going and
everywhere.
going everywhere, and to be just stuck and where you can't go, you can't move, and you're afraid of a virus that could kill anybody. Oh, it's really, really unbelievable what we're living right now. It's really unbelievable to me that we're living through times like this. And I know my mother and father would have been, whew, not only the technology. I love that we have so much great technology now that we can do this,
Yeah.
communicate
And we
on the
can feel
internet.
close.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
How is
But
Bonnie?
Bonnie's great. She's really
Bonnie's
good.
Bonnie.
Bonnie's Bonnie. She's
Bonnie
my
will
little crazy little
survive the
sister.
apocalypse.
I'm telling you, there would be no Pointer Sisters if it wasn't for Bonnie. She
Is
got
that
me to leave my job as working at McGuire and Sweeney at law office in Berkeley to come and join the group because I went to see them at Fillmore West. They were singing with the
wow?
Northern California State Youth Choir with "Oh Happy Day,"
Hmm.
and they were singing. Oh God, I was in the audience just crying because I just couldn't stand it. I wanted to be on the stage with them, and so the next day I quit my job and I joined the choir. We rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. We were going to go on this big trip by bus to New York with the choir. And the morning of the trip, they came to my mom's house and said, "Trip has been canceled." We had our suitcases at the door.
Oh wow.
And we cried. We were so upset. So I had to go find another job, and I did.
They could have told you before you quit.
Exactly, exactly. But Bonnie's doing great. She wrote this song with me, Feels Like June,
Great.
and we had a lot of fun with it, and we've been doing a lot of other stuff together since she lives here in LA. And we've been to some Oscar parties, and that's
Yes.
where we
So
met
I've seen you
Donnell.
guys a lot. Yep.
Yeah, that's where we met Donnell there to get the exhibit up. And thank you, Donnell. She's a sweetheart. And we've been doing other events that Rogers put us in touch with some things.
Yes.
some
A good
award
guy.
shows that we presented at some award shows, and it's been really fun. I find that I can do a lot from not being on the road. There's a lot I can do here at home.
Well,
Yeah.
I know we've had a lot of sad things, but I have to say, I love that you have discovered your own strength, your own Anita Pointer strength, because I think when you're part of a group for so many years, you can lose your individuality.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Because it's always a compromise.
Right.
You never are going to always get your way. So it's hard. Groups are very, very hard, because unless you have one leader, and we didn't have that.
No,
You just
well, I
have
think,
one person in charge.
well, the
And
good thing
otherwise,
is there's three of you. And so there was always a majority. When there were four, it must have been really hard.
yeah, oh God. Daddy used to always tell us, you guys need to write out some bylaws and write out some rules. And we never did it, but I wish we had.
Okay, we have some comments. Let me just bring them up. I don't know if you know,
Okay.
producer Rick Giannatos is saying, I want to work with Anita and the ladies. Billy, you have to introduce us when the craziness is over. So
Okay.
yes, someone else
He's a
wrote,
producer?
he's a producer in the Valley, so I'll introduce you.
Okay.
This person, Kay, loves the song, Feels Like June. Thank you,
Yay!
Anita
Thank
and
you.
Bonnie.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love, who is this? Samori Pointer. Who is some?
Oh my
Auntie,
God, that's my
who the
brother
hell's-
Fritz's son. That's
Oh.
Fritz's son. Hi, Samori. I love
Hi,
you
Samori.
too.
God,
He's so fabulous.
we got pointers coming and
Oh.
going. This person, Kay, again, loves
Oh,
the
thank
song.
you.
What
I
else do we
love it. I
have
love it.
here? Let's see. God, there's so many people love you. Oh, and this person,
Yay.
I remember, I'm so excited, released twice as a single. So you got fans, they remember all this
They
stuff.
remember, I guess so, but it only worked out the last time. I don't remember it being released once or twice or whatever. It got out there.
Oh,
and
look
it
at, there you
worked.
go. Now look, there's your great niece, Sadako.
Oh, that's Sadako.
I love you,
That's
Auntie.
Ruthie's granddaughter. She's the one that travels with the Pointer Sisters now.
Oh, she's the blonde
Yes,
one.
yes, that's Sadako, and she's fabulous.
So
Fabulous.
well, there you
Samori
go.
called in. Sadako called in.
Let's see. Who else do we have?
here,
We've got
Roxy.
so many people. Is that Roxy again? Roxy, say hi. Where are you,
Come
Roxy?
say hi. Just throw
I
a
know
phone
Roxy.
fast. I know.
She might not ever make up. See, that Roxy's very vain.
Here's my Roxy. Hey,
Hey,
Roxy.
Rox. How are you, sweetie?
See that cool hat she got on?
Oh, let me see. Oh, look at that.
Put it down.
Roxy,
So you can
good thing you're there.
see it. I'll put my ear fill out again.
Oh, again, see?
Oh God.
Somebody asked, somebody asked Anita, what was it like recording and performing with June?
Oh, it was heaven. She was the sweetest, most beautiful voice. She could hit notes that no one else could dream of. She was so fabulous, and it was unbelievable great working with June. I miss her so much. Oh my God.
And how
Miss her
hard
so
was
much.
it at the when again she had addiction issues, as we all know?
Yeah.
You and Ruth really had to take a firm hand with her. That must have been so hard as a sister.
It was hard. It was really, really, really hard. But we had to do it because she was having a problem and she wasn't showing up for gigs, and the promoters were getting mad and wanted to sue us, and so we had to do something.
It affects the group and the family at that point. And
It
yet,
did.
anytime you've had problems, you talk about in the book, Bonnie, the way she left the group, which I had never known, when she called Chicago, bye Roxy. When she
You said bye, Roxy.
when you just got a message at the club in Chicago
Yeah.
that she's not coming in. And
Not
yet,
coming.
but and these are not cool things to do. And even your issues with Ruth, and yet you've all stayed a close family. How do you separate group issues from personal issues?
It's not easy, but I mean, once you get on that stage, you know what you got to do. It's showtime.
Right.
So the things we had to figure out and talk about, it would have to happen after the show,
Right.
you know, and between those times when we can talk seriously and then back to show. It's not easy though.
No, I know it can't be.
Yeah.
And again, your life, your
Yeah.
personal life and your professional life all mixed together. That makes life
Mhm.
awfully hard.
It is hard, you know, and
But it also makes the good times even better. So I guess it
that's true.
equals out.
That's so true because there's so many great things that happen because we're family.
Yeah.
You know, so many great times we had because we were sisters. You know, but I miss that. I miss working with my sisters.
Well, what I love
do.
is that we still have you here. We love you.
Thank
Obviously, you can see all
you.
these messages. People love you. I want you to stay well. I want you to try to keep going, keep the faith, or whatever. Keep your daughter
Okay.
in your heart because I know she
Yeah,
is.
I do. You know, I still pray, but it's kind of like a habit, you know. I
Well,
grew
you
up
were the
doing it,
daughter.
and
You
I
were the
talked to my
daughter
mom
of,
and dad, and
yeah, you
they're
had two
so
reverends.
spiritual. Yeah, you know, I pray to them. I tell them, please help me do this. They know the total straight connection to the master.
Well, my hope is that we get through this, and my hope is that we see three Pointer Sisters join together again.
I hope so. I would love that so much. I really would.
Because it seems to me that your family really has healed through music, and your music has healed so
Mhm.
many others. So
It's
I hope
so
we
healing.
heal all of this.
Yes, yes, we could get through this and get back and do something great, you know, to top it all off. That'd be a great way to go out.
Well, like I said, I was there for the three of you. The magic is still there. And
Oh, thank you.
but what is never denied is your beauty. You just radiate such joy and
Oh,
happiness and love. And I hope that you get that back. I really do.
thank you. Thank you, Billy. Thank you
Love
so
you.
much.
Anita,
Love
I
you
want to
too.
remind people to go out, get Fairy Tale. Let's show it again. Fairy Tale, The
Yay,
Pointer
yes.
Sisters Family Story by
Yeah,
Anita
man.
and Fritz.
Yeah, my brother. We wrote the story about all of us. They talk about our cousins and our
Oh, God, in those
brothers.
early years, my God, there was a lot of stories there.
Yes, yes.
And to all the pointers watching this, and we've got pointers at every corner of the country, thank you guys for watching. You have a fabulous lineage to look
Yes.
back on. And
Yes. Thanks, Amori.
thank
Thanks,
you,
Sadako.
Anita. Thank you for doing this show. This was so much fun. We'll do it again.
My
There's
pleasure,
so
Billy. It
much
was
to talk
great.
about.
Anytime, call
So
me.
much.
Anytime.
And I will get those pictures to you. We will be in
Oh,
touch.
good. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Anita Pointer of the Pointer Sisters.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
sweetheart. And thank you all for watching. I know this one went really, really long. I thank you for bearing with us. We will see you on Thursday. I can't tell you who the guests are, but everyone out there, please stay safe, take care of yourselves, and one day at a time. Okay, bye, everyone.